Derick Giwner along with Matt Rose, who's clearly been hibernating somewhere without a razor. We're going to take a look at the Meadowlands for Saturday, July the 11th. Two divisions of the Graduate Series, the finals on the Pace and the Trot, both worth $250,000. One ends the pick 4 that starts in race 6. One starts the pick 4 that starts in race 10. Matt, how you doing?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Obviously, it's been a strange period of time the last few months. We've been kind of AWOL since probably the end of last year for our loyal followers that love listening to our weekly, to us rambling on and babbling weekly. But we're back, and we're remotely, as you can see, back with a vengeance. And let's dive right in. What's the first race we're going to talk about? The first graduate final, I believe, which is race 9
number 9 on the card.
At the Meadowlands. A lot of 4-year-olds, as a matter of fact. It's restricted to 4-year-olds. A lot of horses that we recognize from last year. Headlined by Bettor's Wish, Dance and Lou, working on a mystery. Good race, interesting race, just because you got Bettor's Wish, who is obviously one of the logical favorites, stuck in post 10. So should make for some more interesting strategies early on in the race. I'll kick it off to you. Where did you go here?
Well, why don't we take a look at the replay from last week where Bettor's Wish actually beats Working on a Mystery here. You see Bettor's Wish is going to make the move first, and T-Trick on, I think it's the 8 there, a couple lengths behind him on Working on a Mystery is going to chase home Bettor's Wish. And these two, they come home pretty strong, 25 and change for each of them.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of fast final splits of the Meadowlands the last couple of weeks. I mean, impressive sub-26 moves. And we see Bettor's Wish making just his 3rd start of the year. Not exactly in one of the best spots, considering it was a reasonably well-rated pace. But once he kicked into gear in the final turn, Dexter Dunn, circle wide, powered away with Working on a Mystery following behind him. And Working on a Mystery, chased home willingly, but never got close. Obviously, the tables may be turned tonight, considering the post position swaps with Bettor's Wish stuck all the way outside. But anyone who's listened to me talking the last year or so, I've been on Bettor's Wish's bandwagon since an overnight race at Yonkers, probably 14 months ago or something like that. I know the post is a problem. I know he is the favorite, morning line favorite, 2-1. I don't see a problem getting too short of a price in a competitive field. So basically, that's the direction I'm going to go in, having confidence that Dexter Dunn is going to easily be able to overcome a 10-hole start and clear the horse is talented enough to make multiple moves. So that's the direction I'm leaning in. We'll see. Will he be a heavy favorite? I don't know. Will he be the favorite at all? Who knows? What do you think?
Well, I think that he's definitely going to have to make multiple moves to win this race. I was actually kind of hoping that he drew more inside in the field because I knew going into this race I wanted to play against him. And I figured if he drew somewhere like 3, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range, he was going to end up being like 4 to 5 in this field. And I knew I would get a better price on the horse I like, which is Working on a Mystery. I absolutely love Working on the Mystery in this spot. I feel like he's been brought along really slowly. He missed some time with the injury and stuff from last year. You remember going back to like the Meadowlands Pace and the America Cup. He put in some huge miles. I mean, he didn't win the races, but he put in some huge miles. I think this is the week where they kind of take the shackles off and they let Timmy go with this horse, and we see what he's really made of.
Yeah, I mean, we know well-documented health issues that kind of stunted his 3-year-old season and still had a pretty decent 3-year-old season, like you said, brought along slowly, reportedly, and it looks much better and is good to go. And I agree 100% with your concept of letting him roll tonight. And this is the spot maybe they've been pointing to. And, let's I know still technically it's early in the season, with the season being all mixed up this year. Let's let him loose and see what he's got. With that said, will he be overbet here? Because a lot of people are going to have the same opinion that I think you're going to have. And will he be overbet? And will he maybe be a shorter price than Bettor's Wish? I think that's more than possible. I mean, obviously, he's right there on my ticket. I have him in the 3rd slot under Bettor's Wish and Dance and Lou, and he's going to be on everybody's ticket. But in terms of a value selection, maybe trying to beat Bettor's Wish, I don't see any value being there. I think they're going to be quite even or equal in odds, and that's why ultimately, I'm going to stay on the Bettor's Wish bandwagon that I've been on all season long, all career long, you could say. And we've seen the Chris Ryder barn pick right up where it's left off, and it's been super thus far in the Meadowlands. I don't see the 10-hole being a major problem. I see him capable of making multiple moves, and I'll take the price that's going to be similar to working on a mystery.
What's interesting in this race is there's really, I don't know that there's a horse in this race that can't put up a 47-4 or 47-3 mile, which is what it might take to win this race, assuming the conditions are ideal. And I think it's supposed to be dry for Saturday night. Dancing Lou, I mean, he kind of got surprised last week on the lead, and horse went blowing by him, and then it was just too late. He couldn't re-rally. But that horse has a big shot to win this race and could easily post a 47-2, 47-3 mile here.
It's amazing in this day and age we live in. It seems like, you can pace a 47-4 mile and not even get a check. But yeah, talking about Dancing Lou, we saw his first start of the year for Tawny Camilleri. It's a super effort at an overlay price. Came back, was in seemingly a very easy spot last week. And like you said, maybe Brian Sears went too slowly with him, and he got surprised when I believe it was Century Pharaoh that brushed over him. And once he was clear in the stretch, it still looked like he was going to go by, and he kind of flattened out. While it was a strange effort, and while he could be excused for not re-rallying with enough force to win the race, I still was left lacking a little bit, because he didn't even pass the horse that brushed over him deep stretch after Black Hole swept by them all. Did he regress a little bit, or was just a victim of the trip or circumstance? I'm not sure. One thing I am sure of is if you want to stick on his bandwagon, you're going to get a much better price here. And we've seen Brian Sears work magic in these stakes races about a zillion times in the past. So he's definitely going to be in my ticket. I'm going to have him in the second slot under Bettor's Wish. While I am a bit nervous after seeing what I saw last week, it's not enough to leave him off or looking at a completely different direction. So he is prominent on my ticket and will be on most of the betting public out there.
Yeah, he'll definitely be on my ticket, and I think he can handle the heat. I think if you look back at that start before, went 53 4.5, 21 and change to 3/4. He can handle the heat and keep pacing strong, and I expect him to bring a good effort. But we're going to move on to race number 10, which is the Graduate Trot Final. $250,000 on the line in this field as well. It's a strong field of 10, but I think we all have to agree Chimpanzee's probably going to win this race.
Yeah, it's a strong field of 10, but it clearly goes through what's going to be the odds-on favorites in number 3, Chimpanzee. Brian Sears driving for Marcus Melander Barn. We've seen this guy, he's 19 for 25 lifetime. He's handled any sort of track configuration, any sort of trip on the pace, off the pace. Just one of the handiest looking trotters you're going to see out there. And he picked up right where he left off last year, going 2 for 2 in 2 legs of the Graduates. Perfect post, which I don't believe it was a selected post, but he definitely had post protection, I believe, drawing into this race. Perfect post for Brian Sears to do whatever he wants against a good field, but a field that does not have any real other solid standouts or a solid threat to Chimpanzee based on what we've seen so far. So, yeah, I don't see any reason why Chimpanzee doesn't just roll over these again at a short price.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at what Chimpanzee did last time when he was literally in the parking lot here. You see Brian Sears going 3 deep there from, he's got to be like 7 lengths off the lead. And amazingly, he's going to win this race.
Yeah, you're making people a little nervous at, I believe it was 30 cents of the dollar. But you can't say Brian Sears had it measured. I mean, he was after the horse chasing him pretty much. You can see he's pretty much measured off here. As he's going to roll by Chin Chin Hall is loose on the front end. Obviously, he's not. You can't imagine that he's going to be in a disadvantageous spot like he was in that race. It shouldn't be a problem tactically speaking. And I imagine Brian Sears can work out, any trip he wants here with this very talented and handy horse. We know his barnmate, who got all the attention last year, was a more difficult horse to drive. The name escapes me now. Who is Chimpanzee's barnmate that got all of the attention and all of the accolades? I'm putting you on the spot here. You know who I'm talking about. In any event, Green Shoe. I keep all the G's, the three big horses of Marcus Melander. Anyway, yeah, Green Shoe, who was difficult to drive and acted up, and Brian Sears had to really be careful, or whoever drove him had to baby him. Chimpanzee's the complete opposite. You might be able to drive this horse and get a win with him in the graduate final. But listen, short price. I don't see any argument where you can really go against him. So what it leads to is maybe trying to come up with a cold exacta. So I assume you got Green Shoe on top. You got any cold numbers underneath that you're interested in?
Well, actually, I put Chimpanzee on top because Green Shoe retired. But my cold number here is going to be with the one.
The G's thing again.
We're not going to make a lot of money in this race. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm going to key Chimpanzee in my pick 4. It's a $40,000 guaranteed late pick 4. I'm going to play a cold exact over Chin Chin Hall. It's probably going to be paying about, I don't know, maybe $7 if I'm lucky. And then I'm going to go to the window after the race and I'm going to cash my tickets.
Yeah, it looks like Chin Chin Hall, the one horse in the 6 Southwind Adventure, who was really, he wasn't really on my radar much. And he really impressed me with a park the trip overnight effort at Yonkers in his first start of the year. And then a very nice multiple move effort to win at a price in the graduate last week. Those two seem to be the two obvious horses to complete an exacta and or trifecta and or superfecta. Chin Chin Hall, like you said, will probably be an exacta in the $7-8 range. Maybe Southwood Avenger in the $10 to $12 range. But I'm not going to try to get all fancy here or sneaky or try to come up with something unique or crazy. I'm going to focus in on Chimpanzee and the one of the 6 underneath. Reign of Honor is a nice horse, another Marcus Melander trainee, stuck in post 10, which will give him some value. I know we both have him on the ticket, maybe to round out some tries or supers. But like you said, unless we bang out a cold number and hit like an ice cold number, there's not a ton of money to be made in this race. But I can back Chimpanzee with reasonable confidence here at a short price.
Well, we got 2 votes of confidence for Chimpanzee in the 10th race on Saturday at the Meadowlands, $250,000 graduate trot final. The card also features the Reynolds series and, of course, the Meadowlands pace elimination. 10 horses going to try and get it down to 8, and then they'll come back for a $600,000 and change next week with a full field of 10 in the Meadowlands pace final. And it should be a huge card. The Stanley Dancer final, well, not final, it's just one race, and the Del Miller and some other really nice races. And that's when we'll see you next. Good luck.